For thousands of years, the most powerful people on Earth used astrology to predict wars. I'm talking about kings and emperors who were convinced the planets held the secrets to winning. They didn't have satellites. They didn't have AI. They had the stars. You'd think today would be totally different. We have unbelievable technology and unlimited data. But what if these ancient methods still actually work? I decided to put it to the ultimate test. I used their secret techniques to find the next major global conflict. And the answer is literally written in the sky, right now. For centuries, there's been this insane type of astrology called mundane astrology, and it's literally astrology for entire countries and wars. The idea is crazy, that a whole country has a birth chart, just like a person, and the giant planets moving super slowly in space signal the biggest moments for the entire world. They say ancient astrologers could predict wars with 100% accuracy. But is that even possible today? So I went on a mission. I spent countless hours digging through ancient books to find a secret pattern. A celestial fingerprint that shows up over and over again right before the world goes to war. If I could find that fingerprint, I could look to the future and see when it's going to happen again. And what I found will blow your mind. To predict the future, you have to crack the past. And it turns out there are planetary alignments that are basically giant red flags for war. First, and this is the most insane one, is the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Saturn is the planet of rules, and Pluto is pure destruction. When they meet up, old systems get completely demolished. This happens every 33 to 38 years. And get this, a Saturn-Pluto alignment happened in 1914. Boom, World War I breaks out. Then it happened again as World War II was starting. Do you think that's a coincidence? The second huge red flag is when Mars and Saturn are fighting. Mars is literally the god of war. When it clashes with Saturn, it's like hitting the gas and the brake at the exact same time. The pressure builds and builds until you get a massive explosion. History shows that when these two planets clash, the world is packed with military action. And finally, you have the moments when a huge planet like Saturn enters a new sign. When Saturn entered the fiery sign of Aries in 1996, it kicked off a period of way more aggressive global conflicts. These are the patterns that astrologers swear by. But there's a much more skeptical side to this story. Okay, let's be real for a second. Scientists say astrology is 100% complete pseudoscience, and their arguments are really strong. For one, the predictions are usually so vague, like tensions will rise, that you can make them fit literally anything that happens. Then there's confirmation bias. We all remember the one time an astrologer got it right and forget the 99 times they were completely wrong. For every person who said the 2020 Saturn-Pluto conjunction pointed to a global crisis, thousands of others made predictions for that year that were a total joke. A famous study in the journal Nature in 1985 put the world's best astrologers to the test. They had to match personality profiles to the right astrological charts. The result? They were so bad at it that their performance was no better than just flipping a coin. So why do people keep believing? In scary times, our brains search for patterns to feel like we're in control. It's a real thing called apophenia. Astrology gives us a story that makes chaos feel like it's not random. But this is where my investigation took a shocking turn. I realized that while the stars might not cause conflict, the belief in them just might. So, using the exact same ancient methods, I looked into the future. I pushed aside all the skepticism and just used the technique. I looked for a moment when all the biggest red flags in the sky would align at the same time, and one period stood out like a flashing neon sign: late summer 2027. You are not going to believe what the sky looks like in September 2027. First, you have Mars, the planet of war, in a tense clash with Pluto, the planet of destruction. This is a classic sign of insane power struggles and is an alarm bell for a major confrontation. Second, at the exact same time, Saturn will be in the sign of Aries. Saturn in Aries is all about fighting for power and building new empires through war. On top of that, Uranus, the planet of sudden revolution, will be flowing in perfect harmony with Pluto, which can make shocking, radical changes feel like they were meant to happen. But here's the craziest part. These alignments are all built on something even bigger happening the year before. A massive astrological event, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, happens in early 2026. Historically, this event, which only happens every 36 years, lines up with dissolving old empires. The last time it happened was in 1989, right as the Berlin Wall fell. This event sets the entire stage. So, according to these ancient rules, late 2027 looks like a perfect storm. It's a convergence of aggression, power struggles, and radical chaos, all happening after the old world has started to fall apart. The astrology points to a massive crisis, but this is where things get really interesting. Because the answer isn't what the planets do to us. It's about what we do to ourselves. Here's the insane truth I discovered. Astrology cannot scientifically predict the future. The evidence is clear, but it can absolutely influence it. Throughout history, leaders have made real decisions, like going to war, based on what their astrologers told them. One of the craziest examples is from World War II. It's a fact that Hitler was using astrologers to help him. So British intelligence hired their own counter-astrologer to predict Hitler's moves by figuring out what his astrologers were telling him. They even created fake astrological predictions and leaked them to the enemy to mislead them. Astrology literally became a weapon of psychological warfare. The predictions didn't matter, but the belief in them changed the war. This is the real power and the real danger. It's not about planets forcing our destiny. It's about human psychology. If a leader, or even a country, believes that war is written in the stars, are they less likely to work for peace? Are they more likely to see conflict as something they can't avoid? My prediction for late 2027 isn't a prophecy. It's a warning. It's a warning that a perfect storm of astrological symbols is coming. One that someone could easily use as an excuse for a massive conflict. The danger isn't in the stars, it's in US. It's that we see what we want to see and use these big stories to justify our worst decisions. The patterns in the sky don't lock us into a fate. They just show us the energy we're dealing with. The choices we make are and always will be our own. What do you guys think? Is there a cosmic pattern to history, or is it all just human psychology? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right now. And if you found this investigation interesting, subscribe and hit the bell. We're going to keep exploring these huge ideas, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Thanks for watching.